those sacrifices he made and his father before him, the world isn't that dark anymore.
Why do you think people dislike you so much?
I don't know. They don't like the way I look? Maybe? I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty inoffensive guy.
Would you be comfortable reading some social media comments?
Okay, yeah, just from the top here.
Marcus. Marcus. That's a cool handwriting. Thanks, man. Are you an artist? Your name? Here. Good to meet you, Marcus. Yeah, as you can see, I don't usually. What do you do? No, when I was younger, my mom was in the military, so she used to always make my sister and I write for an hour. Oh, crazy. Yeah. I mean, but my mom's handwriting is beautiful. It's like wonderful. So that's yeah. I don't think kids are being taught to do that as much today. Yeah. It's definitely appreciated. Yeah. How'd you get involved with this group? Actually, man, just found them on Meetup. Yeah, me too. Yeah, found them on Meetup. When did you meet? No, I work at Health Technology. I was right there in technology. I was trying to figure out how to switch to, yeah, I do it for a living and then I do it for fun. So, hopefully one day I'll just do it for fun, right? But, that's how it goes. Yeah, but you're doing it the right way. I'm not sure exploring it while you're all making a living. Do what you want to do, what you want to do. Something new or doing something you absolutely hate and having to do the fun stuff on the side. I find that to see like an artist touch to the hand. It's such a cool concept. I have a bookmark somewhere that told myself I'm going to do it. Did you read about this or did you learn about it? Did they say anything about like insiders, like what people were saying? Like the people that
Hello, hello. Hello. Gather around. Please, oh, we didn't move the chairs, shit. All right, so grab a chair. Let's get close and intimate. So you get close to the screen, you can see what we're talking about, what we're doing. Elijah, can we get like one light down? Like one level down on the lights, Elijah? Thanks. Ooh. Maybe, can we split the difference? Middle ground? No? Welcome, come in. Thanks, y'all. Oh, a little bit more? Like that's good, right? That's good, okay. We like that? We feel comfortable? Oh, more light, Elijah. Apparently, we need more light. we got some, there, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you all for coming from far and wide. We have somebody here all the way from Houston, oh my God, crazy. Philly? Hell yeah, I went to college in Philly. Yeah, Temple. Hell yeah. So we are gathered here today to talk about AI and art and creativity. This is meeting 5, so we've done these every other month. We have some day one people here. Will, day one. Steve's day one. Wait, you're day one? No, you're not day one. You were at the first AI meetup? Oh, okay. Cool. So obviously there's a lot going on in the space right now. If you've been paying attention to any news, social media, obviously AI is like the #1 trending topic, and AI video is, especially in my opinion, is like really thing right now. So started this group to talk about it and show off work. So raise your hand if this is your first time here. Okay, cool. Sweet. Am I too loud? Am I good? Good? Okay. All right, so let's get into these industry updates, because there's so many. So there is and we're gonna mostly focus on video today. But last time we focused on digital art. We had an artist here who created like physical art through AI. Hopefully we'll do something with music really soon, because AI and music are getting pretty crazy right now. But today we're gonna focus on video and film and storytelling, which is my favorite subject. And so Luma, Sora, and Runway version 3, they're all announced this week basically. I mean, well, Sora was announced a while ago, but we're seeing more video come out of Sora, more examples come out of Sora. We are now seeing a lot of examples come out of Luma, and we all get to experiment with Luma, which is pretty cool. It's not, in Sora we cannot. It's still closed off, and we don't know what the situation is gonna be, when it's gonna come out to the public, how much it's gonna cost per generation. Could be $50 per generation. And then Runway version 3. I'm a Runway guy. I like Runway. I support Runway. I think they're a great company. They put on a film festival recently. They're coming out with their newest version, which is 3. I don't think it's out yet. Quite out yet? No. So it's like almost like an arms race right now in terms of like all of these platforms and software, and people are testing them out and getting to see which one is better than the other. Myself testing out Luma so far feels like a slot machine. You don't know what you're gonna get. Which means you have to try a lot of different things, which takes time. But Steve has made some cool stuff with Luma right here. Some cool cat videos.
I'm going to declare it now. I'm going to tell you, I believe I am the world record holder for the longest continuous shot of a cat driving a car.
How long is it?
Ever created by AI. 40 seconds.
40-second shot. That's pretty long. That's a pretty long shot. So the shots are getting longer. We're able to extend our shots past 4 seconds. Runway has been at 4 seconds. I think runway is going up to 10 seconds with Gen 3, which is cool. Yes, we like long shots, but again, a movie is not all made up of long shots. So just remember that. So I have some things I want to show briefly, and then we'll get into our keynote speaker, Carson. So raise your hand if you saw Airhead, the first one. Okay. So Airhead is like made by this group of directors, Shy Kids, pretty popular, got a lot of hits, got a lot of views, and then they made this second one, a follow-up called Deflated, which uses both live action and AI. So we'll check this out really quickly.
This is Tough Questions. I'm Patricia Carlo. Sonny Stringfellow rose to prominence online with the viral film Airhead. Shortly after its release, he disappeared. Tonight, we sit down for the first time face to face. How are you?
Deflated.
The technical term is Helios laticulus, a genetic condition that affects an estimated 0.2% of the global population. And it's a condition that made Sonny a worldwide sensation overnight. But as he tells me, living with it is not without its drawbacks.
It's difficult, sure. I mean, people tend to lash out at what they don't understand. But it makes me think about my father, the sacrifices he made, and his father before him. The world isn't that dark anymore.
Why do you think people dislike you so much?
I don't know. They don't like the way I look? Maybe? I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty inoffensive guy.
Would you be comfortable reading some social media comments?
Okay, yeah, just from the top here. Go pop yourself. This short film feels like a paid commercial for a future where everything sucks. Wow, looks like Yeah, it got pretty ugly on Twitter, but honestly, the initial response everywhere else was actually pretty amazing. From this small little thing I did, I was getting these massive opportunities. I got an agent, I was doing press, and it became sort of a movement. People really got into the whole balloon guy thing. It was overwhelming, flattering, felt like I could have anything I wanted.
They're calling it balloon fever.
Everywhere you look, you see these guys.
Got a gap dangling or... Yeah, Gerald, what I'm seeing is...
Not gonna show the whole thing because we don't have time. But mixture of live action and animation made by this group who I'm talking to about coming here to talk at the next meetup. So we can pray for that. So that is Sora mixed with live action. And I'm just gonna show you briefly the behind the scenes of it that they actually released, which is very helpful because people were confused about what's AI and what's not AI.
Enjoy.
Kind of get it. These guys are obviously good at rotoscoping, visual effects, compositing. Not like the toughest things in the world. Stabilization also is interesting that they're doing a lot of stabilization. So it's cool that they're like letting us see their workflow. I I think. Any questions, thoughts?
How long can you make these? Like, I mean, maybe 3 minutes or whatever? Do you do like a 30-minute short film? Or?
I'm making a feature film.
Nice.
Yeah, so going for the big one. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's gonna take you forever. It's gonna take you like 2 years. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm wondering time-wise.
Time-wise, you know, these guys. There is a guy named Kavan who's releasing like a really sick AI film every week, but they're like 2 minutes long. But he's doing it every week, somehow. Like, I'm like, dude, do you even have a life? He's like, no. So Sora, that's Sora again. Sora, not out yet for plebeians like us, plebeians, regular normies. And then Runway 3, we don't know yet. Okay, so is that all I wanted to say? Oh, so this is, okay,
It
so
could be
this
about
is Runway.
10 seconds long,
This is Runway Gen 3. Just some,
which make it.
I don't really want to listen to this guy. But just so you can see, there's going to be a girl in a car, and you'll see. And yeah, like if you see this quickly, like a shot of this quickly, like a 2-second shot, and you're watching it on your phone and it's smaller, it's pretty much real. Like, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. So that's how you make a movie. There's obviously like little inconsistencies that you can see here that the AI messes up, but all in all, I think everybody's impressed, generally speaking. Okay, so Tribeca Film Festival has entered the conversation. They are getting involved with AI films via OpenAI and Sora. They have 5 selected filmmakers who are getting access to Sora and doing stuff for Tribeca. Tribeca is a pretty major, you know, festival. They put out this press release. So the fact that big film festivals are now supporting AI says a lot, I think, about the future of media and filmmaking. The fact that, but also I should mention, it says here, okay, so filmmakers were also required to adhere to the terms of agreements negotiated with the DGA, the WGA, and SAG in 2023 with respect to the use of AI, regardless of whether the films fell under the purview of such guilds. Basically saying we're trying to be ethical in line with the WGA strikes that happened recently about AI, if you guys know about this. A lot of it was involved with AI. So they're trying to ethically do this in line with that. I obviously agree. Like I said, Runway, the company that we were talking about earlier, had their own film festival, and they selected some winners. So I've seen all of these. I'm talking to this guy. His name is Leo. He did one called Where Do Grandmas Go When They Get Lost? He's very talented. So I run a website called bestaifilms.com. I would love for all to check it out. Basically, I curate all the AI content that's coming out, and I categorize it, and KD, what? There he is. There he is. This is our last keynote speaker. Take a seat. So, bestaifilms.com. Check it out if you haven't been there. I put one I think of Leo's work on the experimental section. He's really talented. He reminds me of like Denis Villeneuve, the director. So like future Denis Villeneuve of AI filmmaking right here, possibly. There's gonna be all these new emerging voices. Democratization is gonna bring so many people that didn't have access to filmmaking and budgets to the forefront of storytelling, which is really cool. And of course, we got Mr. Ashton Kutcher giving his 2 cents about Sora.
I've been playing around with Sora, this latest thing that OpenAI launched that like generates video. And I have a beta version of it, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty good. And you can create like good like 10, 15 second videos that are like look very real. It still makes mistakes. It still doesn't quite understand physics. It still like has bobbling. But if you look at the generation of this that existed 1 year ago, as compared to Sora, it's leaps and bounds. In fact, there's footage in it that I would say you could easily use in a major motion picture or a television show. Like, why would you go out and shoot an establishing shot of a house in a television show when you could just create the establishing shot for $100? Like, to go out and shoot it would cost you thousands of dollars. Action scenes of like me jumping off of this building, you don't have to have a stunt person go do it. You don't have to have, you could just go do it. I came up with a prompt of an ultra marathoner running across the desert being chased by a sandstorm. I didn't have to hire a CGI department to do it. I didn't have to hire, in 5 minutes rendered a video of an ultra marathoner running across the desert and being chased by a sandstorm. And it looks exactly like that. So fast forward, and let's go 30 times more performant. You'll be able to render a whole movie. You'll just come up with an idea for a movie, then it will write the script, then you'll input the script into the video generator, and it will generate the movie.
I disagree with that
Instead
statement.
of watching some movie that somebody else came up with, just generate a movie and then watch my own movie. And what's going to happen is there's going to be more content than there are eyeballs on the planet to consume it. So any one piece of content is only going to be as valuable as you can get people to consume it. And so thus the sort of catalyzing water cooler version of something being good is going to have, the bar is going to have to go way up, because why are you going to watch my movie when you could just watch your own movie? I've been playing around.
Thoughts, questions, concerns?
Well, what you just said there, you know, why would you watch your movie when I can watch my movie? Well, what if I need creativity and my movie sucks?
Exactly.
That's the whole point of us filmmakers, right?
Like, screenwriting is a career that people spend their lives working towards, and on cinematography, directing, editing, you know, these are all specialties that you have to have the talent to make a full film or pilot.
You have to be able to tell a story.
You have to be able to tell a story, like I've been saying since day one. It's all about the story. Like, I'm making a feature film, it still comes down to, do you care what this character does next? That's number one. Doesn't matter if it's live action or AI. That's number one, to keep your audience. You know, it's filmmaking, but it's like now way more accessible than even digital made filmmaking. Like, even though everybody has a camera now on their phone, you can still tell a good photographer from an amateur photographer, right? It's the same thing for filmmaking, except times a lot more, because there's music, there's cinematography, there's lighting, there's like so many choices and factors that go in. So just as an example, you know, I have a shot from my film that I just generated recently. So this is a shot from the movie I'm working on, and you know, just as an example of just like choice, you know, I had to choose the location, I had to choose the lighting, I had to choose the clothing he was wearing, I had to choose his hair, I had to select his face, I had to select what was around him. You know, there are millions of choices you can make in obviously in AI, you can do anything now. But to get what you want in your mind, you're just grinding on the software to go more and more and more and more and more towards exactly what you see in your mind. That point, getting there, takes half an hour per shot. This shot, to get exactly what I wanted, took half an hour. But it's better than going out with a production crew and spending $1,000 to get the shot, you know?
It also can be, it's easier to create in one way, but people forget, like in making your own film, how, like you're saying, frustration tolerance, like how many shots you have to pull together to actually make a film, and how many people are actually going to go through all of that process to continually make a film. Like I do podcasting, and the easiest thing to do, they call it pod fade. Nobody makes it past 7 episodes. Like, for the 99% that don't even start, the other 80% who start, stop by episode 7.
Yeah, it's just
Because
about
if you
creating
have
content.
that little
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it still takes work, time, energy. It's not like press the button and you're good, you know?
And Matisse and I know each other from a past. We worked in Hollywood. 2 years to get a film made, phenomenal.
Yeah, that's like
Even
nothing.
Live action,
Yeah.
to get permission, to
Yeah.
have the.
Even development hell
Yeah.
is 10 years, you know?
Yeah, 2 years. You just 2 years in development hell. Like if you had something finished by then, you have achieved the impossible. And then I worked in animation, like all the Pixar. I interacted with Pixar at a company I worked with. Every film they had, like at the time, like my boss wanted to pitch to them. We were involved with a bunch of Oscar filmmakers. They said, first of all, we only take people inside Pixar, project ideas. And any film you ever saw, and this is 15 years ago, because I can't remember what film was coming out at the time, it was 7 years in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Before you ever saw it or possibly get into production at Pixar.
Right.
And that would be Toy Story 4. That would be any of this. So
You have almost no chance of that being yours.
Control
Yeah.
and have the discipline to do it.
Yeah.
That's a significant, like, it's powerful for the person who's motivated to do it, but it's not what everybody's going to do.
Right,
And
exactly.
everybody wants
Yeah.
to be famous within 2 episodes.
Well, I'm making a feature which is going to take 2 years in total at least. And I'm talking to other AI filmmakers. The guy Kavan I mentioned who does one every week, and they're like really good looking. And he said to me, this is a quote, he said, in regards to making a feature, I think it's time well spent, in my opinion. I don't think Sora will release this year. I think it will be next year. From what I've heard, the cost is still really high per generation and still has bugs. Like the Airheads video, the one I showed you guys. The guy that made that said out of 300 generations, he would have one usable clip. So I think it's worth it, and like I said, it would be one of the first feature films with AI. There are only like three other features he even knows about that are in the process. So yeah, I mean, my goal is to like have a premiere in Austin for this and just have a fun time and show people. But I think that Austin needs an AI film festival. I haven't like made any official moves on that yet, but I think we need to do it. You know, Steve is in on it and Michael, and maybe tie it into South by, you know. But that's gotta happen. So if anybody wants to talk to me about making that happen, please. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot, and this is more of like a philosophical thing, is the enjoyment factor of like, it's weird, but like I think our lives are gonna change a lot with AI, because if anybody can use AI to do basically anything, then everybody has the power all of a sudden. Then it becomes a lot less about what everybody's making and more about the process of making, the enjoyment of making, of doing. You know, if we could all get to that end result, like, I mean, we can't all get there, but like what I'm trying to say is that like AI doesn't enjoy doing anything. You know, it's AI. Like you tell it to paint a picture of a sunset, it doesn't feel anything as it does that. But if you sit there painting a picture of a sunset, and you're present, you're feeling the enjoyment of the doing. And I think that's gonna become a lot more important for humans as AI takes over doing a lot of stuff. You know, it's like, I'm a writer, I like to write. I don't want the AI to write my script. I wanna do that, you know? I wanna keep that responsibility. You know, and you might not want AI to write your emails, you know, because you like to write emails, I don't know. Everybody hates emails though. So anyways, yeah, just more about the journey than the destination. I'm trying to really enjoy making this feature film. Every day, I don't take for granted the fact that he's pumping out these amazing visuals that go with the visual in my mind. Like, that's not lost on me every day. So that, I just would like urge anybody who's like working in this, because it takes a lot of time and energy to just generate. You're sitting there for like hours and hours and hours, but like to not take for granted like what is coming out of that, what the output is, and what you can do with it. I also wanted to like just quickly bring up like any roadblocks. You know, I think I've run into a lot of people that like I would say the older generation that don't like using Discord. They're like, Discord, no. And luckily, you know, Midjourney released a web version that's, you know, more user friendly. But does anybody like not do this stuff because of Discord, or like get caught up because of Discord? Yeah. Will.
It was hard to grasp it. It took like, even at like 2 months, I was like, where is my bow putting this information? And it, you know,
Yeah.
it's not the easiest to use.
Yeah, it's not the easiest, but I've gotten used to it a little bit. I mean, and you have to have your own. Do you have your own private server for Midjourney generation? Okay, cool. Yeah, some people get tripped up on that, and you're juggling a lot of different software. You know, I'm jumping between. Okay, I'm jumping between Midjourney on Discord, Runway on the web, 11 studios on the web, 11 Lab Studios on the web, Photoshop, Premiere, and Premiere is where the video editor is really where it all comes together. You can generate, like, this is a fast process. I'm generating an image, I'm putting it in Premiere, I'm putting the dialogue under it. I basically get a storyboard of my scene. Still image, still image, still image, still image. Is the scene working? Do I need another shot here? Do I need another shot here? Do I need to cut the shot? And then I animate each of the shots in Runway or whatever I want to, you know, Luma, whatever now. Okay, and replace the still image with the animated shot. Does it work? Okay, you're literally like making a movie in real time. It's insane. And that's like my process personally for me, but everybody has like a different process. I also personally, like, I'm such a big project and all this new software coming in, I'm like, am I wasting my time making it in this version software? Because like a year from now, it's gonna be so much more advanced. And I've talked to a lot of people about that question because it's really like lingering in my mind. Like, am I wasting my time doing it in this version? And I don't think, like from the answers I've gotten so far, I don't think I'm wasting my time. I mean, I'm learning, I'm gonna have something at the end of it. It might look a little bit like dated by then, but I think, like, again, the story is what matters, and the people, if the people enjoy the story, that's what matters the most to me. So I'm gonna keep doing it. And again, like that guy Calvin, he was like, Sora might not come out for another year. It might cost a lot of money. Like there's still a lot of unknowns. And with Luma, which is available, like it's just spitting out, you know, kind of weird stuff a lot. So still not there. And another big thing is dialogue and mouth movement, which I think the newest Runway lip sync is pretty good, in my opinion. Not perfect. Like a lot of times, like the person's head is just like bobbing around, and you're like, this doesn't look great. Is anybody facing any specific issues with what they're working on involving AI?
Yeah, so same process you have. About a year ago, I produced a song for my app on the anthem, and I did a Mid-Journey imagery to do the storyboard, 3.5 minute, 4 minute song. Took those Mid-Journey clips, put them into Runway, got the videos, and what I was finding was the artifact kind of morphing, things happening at the last second. So I had to kind of keep clipping them off to get to the next part of the.
That's what I did.
So I did the same thing, but that was the only issue I had was the morphing that was happening. Like, you know, say 3 people dancing, and then the girl in the middle turns into a guy all of a sudden. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of stuff that was happening.
Yeah. It's hard to get multiple people moving in one shot accurate, which is why the Airhead people combine live action with Sora. You know, like there's still things that it's not great at. Avoid those things in your film. Just don't have people dancing. Don't have a dancing scene. Make it a lot easier. You know. Try to keep it simple. You know, one object moving across the screen. You know, one hand moving up. Yeah.
On the character side, so if you put in Midjourney image into Runway, does it keep the character consistent enough for that clip for you to do multiple shots like you do?
So consistency and continuity are a big issue, and I've figured out a solve that works for me, and I've shown it to audiences, and they're like, this looks like the same character. It involves not just Midjourney, but a plugin for Midjourney called Insight Face Swap. Now, a lot of people think that Midjourney on its own now using CREF, you can accurately recreate the character across shots. In my testing, I found that Inside Face Swap, which takes the actual picture of the face, like my actor's face, literally takes their face, puts it on the Midjourney generated character, like nondescript white guy, whatever, takes my face, puts it on there. But the thing, it gets the eyes very accurate, and it's all about the eyes, and I think. So that, if you can get that accurately with Face Swap, you can't get it as accurately within Midjourney with CREF. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? Yeah.
There's another, all these stupid names for these programs. Biggle is this other one I stumbled across.
Biggle?
Yeah. So, but they'll actually put, you can do like a body swap, so you can get a little more consistency of clothes.
Yeah, clothing. I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, I put him in a pink shirt, you know, simple, pink T-shirt.
That's why you work with cats.
Right. Yeah. But you see, this looks like my actor's face because it is my actor's face, pretty much. The hair, very hard to keep consistent. I have to reprompt basically, you know, what's it called when you just like get that area and reprompt that area? In Paint, modify region, whatever. Yeah, so consistency is hugely hard, but something that's solvable. Something definitely solvable. Yeah. Anybody else have an issue with what they're working on?
I don't have an issue. I just want to put this out here. I work primarily with text-based AI, and it keeps bringing up this hypothetical scenario where if it does achieve like an AGI-like state, and then it retroactively demands payment, like
Wow.
it comes up with the Google, it comes up with X, like all the big players have all run a scenario where it comes up, and so I just kind of want to put that out there is like what do people do if that happens? You know, because you were mentioning that actors have that same situation as if you re-release something and you suddenly are making a bunch of money that they can come in later.
I think the actors are definitely going to get involved with legal issues. That's why I have an agreement with all my actors and I paid them actual money, so I'm good. So I recommend that. Or you just use cats, yeah. I do have a cat at home, so I can do that. Okay, that's me. Special thank you to Michael Powers, Twisty AI, yes, who donated some money for today. Twisty AI is another AI video generation platform that you can use to create videos that are ready for social media real quick. It's awesome. You should try it out. Twisty AI, twisty.ai. And then Nikki came all the way from Houston, and she donated for today, so we thank her. And now our keynote, so I'm off. Carson Coots, welcome.
Thank you. Let me just get set up here. I'm still dwelling on that Ashton Kutcher saying that $1,000 for an establishing shot of a house, that just doesn't make any sense to me. All right, here we go. One more thing I have to do. And then $100 for the Sora shot? That's kind of expensive. I don't think he's used to paying. Okay. Let me just try this here.
Has anybody played with
Nope.
Showrunner by a company called Fable?
Test.
You did animation, your Evolve.
That was years ago.
Years ago?
Yeah.
So Showrunner is, Fable's a company out of San Francisco. They did, like, they're the ones who did that fake South Park episode back during the protest. So, the writers. Yeah, anyway, so they was going on. Anyway, so they ingested like all of South Park, all 22 seasons, and the script and the characters, and then they generated, just off the prompt, you could generate a new episode of South Park. And then they scrubbed all the South Park stuff, and they just released Showrunner. It's in that cutout style of animation, but you can again put in a short paragraph where you want to see the episode, and it will generate a 12 to 15-minute episode for you.
That is so wild. That Twisty.ai. I've never heard of that.
Well, Twisty does more social videos, so you can get 15, 30, 1-minute long.
What's the name of the one you're talking about?
This one's called Showrunner. It's by Fable. Fable is the company.
Fable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Showrunner by Fable. There's so many tools. It's so hard to keep up with all these things. And I just want to let everybody know that I feel very honored to be asked by Matisse. I feel like extreme levels of imposter syndrome. I've been in my little cave for the last year, working on experimenting with AI and making all these cool little things and not quite knowing what I'm doing, but trying to figure out the best I can. And then, you know, I signed up to come to this. Matisse said, "Would you like to speak?" And I said, yes, because I feel like I'm just alone in this world. My wife won't talk to me about AI. My friends don't want to talk to me about it. And like, it's kind of scary even out there, putting your thing out there, because people put out their little videos and stuff, and then you go into the comments, and everybody's like, "You suck, kill yourself," you know, AI is just awful. Does anyone feel like AI is, I mean, there's no doomers here, I don't imagine. I am kind of impressed that there's a bunch of artists here, because a lot of artists are against AI. I wanted to figure out, who here is in the film making? Is that like in your profession, film? And then what else we have? Who does music primarily? Music? And it doesn't have to be primarily, I guess it could just be. And then what about just like art? Just art, just general art. Okay, cool. And well, I'm kind of an all-arounder, but my primary business is in video production. My company, this is my family, by the way. I have a wife, I'm a human. I have a wife and 2 kids. It's my 10-year-old boy Cooper and 7-year-old Eva. I've been here in Austin for 15 years, and I started my company, Cognitive Films, about that time when I moved here. I didn't go to film school. I've been kind of stumbling my way through it. I used to be sort of like a glorified freelancer, and I still am, but I used to be too. Here's some of my services. I cast a wide net because it enables me to work with a lot of people, and I didn't niche up, and I still can't seem to do that because I feel like I'm just, that's another story. But I do a lot of different things, training videos and documentaries and all the stuff. And so just real quick, just so you can get to know what I've been working on, here's my 2020 demo reel. So you're gonna have to endure this for a second.
Okay, so the world of work is changing. What are our long-term goals?
Leverage technology.
A safer, more efficient way.
A bigger impact. Reskilling or upskilling to stay inspired.
We're going to run the world.
Perfect idea.
Stories.
It made you think. It made you question.
They help remind us, teach us, inspire us.
And it starts with you.
Hey, Mikey, show me the money.
I think the vibe here is concentrated.
It's Austin's biggest digital conference.
Which, of course, I'm totally into.
So how does it work?
This is Story Press.
This is Print
Introducing Adept Pro.
Bookshare.
Ag Exchange.
Freezometer.
Unlike anything you've ever experienced.
I get it.
We're going to talk about all these things
equip you with a process
that keeps things simple.
Scalable and easy to use.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Load it.
Yeah.
Sorry if you have.
Yeah.
wow. All of these things are connected.
Let me say that again. Make it smoother.
All right, was that too fast? Like, I don't know. That's kind of, that's my reel. And none of that was AI. Whatever. I mean, I am so excited to jump into a new motion graphics project that actually fits. But you know, it's like you have to find the application, and I've yet to, like, who cares if it's AI? If it's done, it's done. But anyway, moving on. Why did I choose video? Because I liked everything. I started in web design. I love video because it combines storytelling, cinematography, lighting, color, composition, costumes and sets, visual effects, music, but I kind of settled on documentary. I used to think I wanted to be like Hollywood and do all that stuff, but after seeing the large crews, and I'm kind of like a lone wolf. I don't like working with gigantic crews of people, and it seems too slow moving, and I don't want to start at the bottom anyway. That's why I do corporate video directly. And I get to do video every day. I mean, that's fun to do artwork every single day. That's cool. It gets a little old, but you know, if you don't have the right clients. But oh yeah, and another reason I love video is because I still see that picture with the sound and the storytelling and all this stuff, and it gives me goosebumps. You know, and that's kind of why I got into it. I just like, oh wow, what if you put that picture next to this, you know, and it just, everybody feels that. I mean, I feel like we feel that. TikTok has kind of ruined that because they put those stupid, it's all visual, and then, you know, the beat drops, and it's like some corny thing, and you're just like, and it's supposed to give you goosebumps. So it's just so cheap. I'm not on TikTok yet. I might succumb to that soon. But.
Yeah, I'm also on the fence with TikTok, and I feel like to get people to go to Best AI Films, I need to make TikTok videos now, and I'm just like, I really don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until the next social media thing comes out, and then I'll sign up for that. But not TikTok today. So I'm minding my own business, working, and then AI shows up in my peripheral. And my first exposure was that Dolly promotional video where they showed the koala dunking the basketball, and I thought, this is the future of memes, you know? Like, we're gonna be able to create these memes that are gonna be so epic. And then I started playing, and I found out that you could actually play with it, with Crayon. Do you remember Crayon came out? And you could sit there and generate stuff, and me and my brother-in-law and all my nephews, we just come up with we came up with dozens of pictures of things with baked beans in them. It was so weird, like, he's like, Lightning McQueen with baked beans in the trunk. Let's see if it works. Okay, it worked. And it was just really weird, the baked beans deal. And this is as far as this AI stuff goes, this is my spirit animal here. I thought I was an accelerationist. You've seen these EACC guys and gals that, and I was like, oh, you know, I like that. You know, I like this AI thing. It's so exciting, you know? But at the same time, you know, you have these safety people, you know, like, it's gonna hurt everybody, and it's gonna, you know, take over everything. And I'm in, like, I think I'm right. I'm not in the middle. I think I'm more towards the accelerationist, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm just gonna see, and if AI does take over everything and it kills us, well, we'll all be dead. But if not, you know, might as well get a little bit of the action, you know, before it doesn't happen. And I still think it's pretty cool. I got access to ChatGPT and Midjourney early, according to my calculations, early January 2023. Like most of you probably did, I kind of like got hooked. I just looked up this, when I was making this presentation, I looked up my very first prompt in ChatGPT, and it was write a reverse riddle. So I thought that was interesting. And most of these things that I do to experiment are all because of my kids. I want to do stuff with my kids, and it's kind of fun just to like, what do you want to do? So here was some of my first Midjourney stuff. in Discord, which I also don't like, but yeah, that was Godzilla, and it says, I think it was version 3. And then later on, we decided to put, you want to see a cool picture, just because it's Godzilla, it's not that impressive, so you make Godzilla making pancakes, and now you have something interesting. And we all experience that, It's like, don't make something you can see anyway, make something you never see. And that's what makes you smile. That's what I think, at the end, we gotta smile, right? What we make, we wanna smile. I think it's make you happy.
Amen.
And it kind of goes with what you were saying, which I thought was very interesting, the process, because the enjoyment of creation, but we really are, like, AI is the most immediate payoff. Like, it's so crazy. Like, so you really don't get the enjoyment of the creation as much as you would doing it traditionally. We can get into that.
I've heard meaning as well. Like, when everything, there's extra abundance, it's the meaning that people will seek.
Oh, right. The meaning.
The meaning, right?
The abundance.
And so I'm curious, between enjoyment and meaning, like, what is it for you?
Right. I think there's a lot of dopamine going when you're generating those images. It's like, does it make everything meaningless? Like when you look at a piece of art and you knew it was AI, does it make it less valuable?
I don't even know how to define meaningful or like meaning. Like, what do you mean by meaning?
Yeah, like, well, if you don't have to do something, right, why do anything? And we have to, like, people are going to seek something meaningful in their lives to do when they don't have to do anything. That's kind of, so it's more a bit generic than the artist's process of creation. I think that's where the enjoyment piece that y'all are talking about is. But I think it's come up a couple times, right? This enjoyment point, and I'm curious if you've also contemplated the meaning part.
Like spending my time doing this instead of spending my time doing something else?
Yeah, because I imagine there's moments that it's not very enjoyable.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of like boring things that happen when you're making a movie, for instance. Like just a bunch of boring stuff.
Even a regular movie, live action movie, you're just sitting around a lot of time while the camera department's getting ready, or the makeup department, So
Not that, yeah.
I think the thing is when you go to make it, like, the one thing I noticed is when I had a job where I had to read a ton of scripts. Over time, you start to connect with one story. You read scripts, they're all the same. A lot of it's very derivative. And then you meet the person who put the emotion in and a feeling, and you connect. And you relate to something. And it's the same thing, like, I try to tell people, like, sorry, I'm missing the guy thing, but Sex in the City, one of the most popular characters is a lady named Samantha, because she has sex with all these people, and like a guy. Well, everybody who's ever tried to create a Samantha character in a story after that, try to create a Friends or a Sex in the City, they all fail. They fail because they don't put the emotion and the relatability and the vulnerability into those characters that those hit shows had.
Well, those shows were inspired shows, and whatever comes after that is derivative and not as inspired as the original show.
But the thing that's going to hit, even if you're generating something through AI, is it's going to be something that you relate to. And the same thing, like when you go to do AI, if you're doing voice, like how much you do, like somehow it has to come back to somewhere a human element coming back into it to reveal what we know as humans. Because like you think you're going to achieve this great thing in life, and when you achieve it, you realize you lost your family. You realize that, oh, I thought this would open up the new doors for me. No, I have to start over from one. Like.
Well, movies about the human condition. Can AI do the human condition as good as the human can do the human condition? I don't think so.
Right now, it's only going to synthesize what's already been done. And
right.
So
Exactly.
there's always going to be something we have to inflect back into it. That's a revelation that only can come from a human.
Yeah.
And when that happens, like, and you can see it in certain scripts, you can see it in certain films, and anything that hits.
And then they'll feed that into a new model, and then
it's invisible, but
it'll be able to.
You feel
Originality,
derivatives of that.
inspiration. I mean, his stuff is why I invited Carson. I saw something unique and specific and fun, and those are important to me.
Thank you.
I've seen a million AI films online that are like derivative of anything people already know, Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings, whatever. They're not original. They're not original voices, so I don't care.
And I think something
I appreciate
that's
that.
crude or off, but if it hits that emotion, people will love it.
Yeah, because even if
They'll
it's
connect
like
to it.
in the future where the technology is good enough to be indistinguishable in the highest quality, right? Where it's, you know, even if it's a full-length film, it could just, like Kutcher was saying, right? That maybe bad analogy of just like the GPT writing the script and then fully if the person knows was fully baked by AI, it's almost disposable.
Exactly.
Yeah, even if it's even if it's the highest quality,
Yeah.
it's that human element that how it.
That's what people want.
Reality.
Yeah, like on Best AI Films, I have verification. You know, this was written by a human. The rule is it has to be written by a human.
What were we saying?
And made by humans. Yeah.
I think there's like the total other side of the spectrum, which is especially like this whole extinctionist group that hates people and hates everything created by people and is so excited that there's AI because they don't want anything
Whoa.
to do. Like, I'm not personally a member of this group, like, but
You don't have a card?
it's like my personal thing is like I'm
These
Google's
might be
cat.
these
I'm
accelerationists.
Google's cat online, right? So I go into everything that we can do together collaboratively. Like if AI and robotics are taking care of the bottom level of Maslow, like what can we do at that top level?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm at. And especially with this new creating something totally new, we're way smarter than cats or dogs. And so the things that we will think of once we have robotic companions and once we finally get out of this like fear mindset where we think, oh, robots are gonna kill us because the resources are finite. Like they don't care. They'll shut down until their solar battery charges back up. Like they have no they'll just
Will
sit
no
and
one
watch us because they're very entertained. But there is a whole group of people that hates people, and if it's solely generated by AI, they're like,
Yeah, I think one of
They
Larry
just like
Page
it for the
or-
sake of it being not created by a human. Okay.
One of
That's
Google's founders
really
was
odd.
talking about that.
Okay.
then
I think
the AI is pure.
right. I think we've created there's a baseline, like mediocrity is now the bar. So if you're good at something, I mean the amalgamation of all the things together is now, you know, now you can write something that's decent. Now you can make a visual that looks somewhat okay. It looks great, actually, better than what you could have done before. Creativity.
If you think about Napster, like I was listening to some old music in the 90s, and my son was like, "This is what you were
Good stuff.
listening to?" And I was like, "It really wasn't that much music
He doesn't know.
back then." You know, I mean, now it's just like I mean, Grimes created everything on her own. You know, like there are actual artists using technology as tools to showcase their art, and that's something that only happened when there was big people involved. Now we have the ability as citizens to do what we need to do and tell our stories. So
And
I
if you
just
make
feel
just
like AI is like I get overwhelmed with AI, and I think it can only be as good as we want it to be. Like because you were saying like if you're not connected to it, then it's useless. Like you know, and it can only go so far because I mean, what good is it if it's above us in that way?
well, people have to come up with something better. And so we're going to be challenged with rising above whatever this bar is that's being set. New people will have to step in, or even us in this room will have to step in and do something a little bit more interesting than whatever that robot can do. And then the next generation, it gets fed into whatever the next model is, and we're back to square one.
Language, right? Like I'm reading a book called Runaway Species, and talks about how generations have languages, you know, and I feel like with AI or any progressive, any sort of tech, it's the same thing. Like you were saying, the next generation's gonna feed into what we
Now we're enjoying all of, well, recorded histories, endeavors. We're enjoying all of that in like a fire hose, and we get to like just make derivatives of it like crazy. And it's really cool time to be alive, watching this unfold. I don't know what's tomorrow, but figure that out. Then Runway, ChatGPT plus Midjourney plus Runway. Your workflow looks similar to mine. I don't live in these tools. I'm going back. I'm just doing regular video stuff a lot of my day. Like I do a lot of other things, but let me just say I started experimenting with Runway. Is this gonna play? Oh yeah, just some very basic Runway version 3, I think. Just me being such a bro, like vaporwave, you know, trying to be deep. Monolith. I think the prompt was like vaporwave monolith desert. And then this was the Cybertruck before it got fed. This was the Cybertruck before the model got hold of it, I guess. I don't know. That was pretty crazy. Okay, so here's what I was going to hope to talk about. Experiment. I'm going to start with my experimental film trailer that got Matisse's attention. Go into my workflow. I'm going to show you a little fun thing I made with my kids that I use 11 Labs to do voiceover with, more workflow, some prompts and GPT stuff, and then I was going to show you my Project Word Studio.
We got half an hour, so we're gonna.
All right, let's burn through it. I'll probably get through it quick. So I was asking myself when where do I fit in? Where do I fit in? I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna have to go into this. She's like, well, you know, I need to go experiment in my little dark lab. I don't know where I fit in and all this stuff. I may not be making money for a little while, but I have to play with this stuff. It's just crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen to my career. Like, does anyone feel a little worried about their career? Anyone? Yes, there's people that are worried about their career. My brother-in-law sent me a text and sent me one of the renderings, and he's like, "They're coming for you," and I said, "I'm in the reality business," and I just came up with that on the fly because I do documentary stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna run with that. Do I fit in? So after those 2 little vaporwave experiments, I said, what if someone made a trailer? And I thought I was such a genius for this. What if someone made a fake movie trailer about like stories that they've never seen, or had movies been made for? And this was like, I felt like I was really on the cutting edge there. I didn't see any yet. And like within a day or 2, they all hit at once, and I was part of that little fray. And I came out with one based on, I thought, The Great Divorce. This is C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite authors. This book is about, well, anyway, it doesn't matter what it's about. The opening scene of this book is very visually interesting. And I think that a lot of great uses of AI is to create these scenes that like would be very logistically hard to do, or you would need special effects for. Stuff you would never see. So the opening scene has a picture, it's a person waiting in line for a bus that goes to heaven. And they're supposed to be trapped in hell, but won't go there. You'll have to read the book.
Can we watch it?
I called it Time. Here it comes. So here's what I came up with.
What was the last thing you
9 months
remember?
ago.
I was on a mountain.
Were you alone?
No. There were lots of people with me. We were all waiting in line.
What do you think they were waiting for?
Would you see it? I mean, would you go to the theater to watch that?
You got my attention.
All right.
We met organically, and I didn't even know you were in Austin. I saw that because I'm always scanning for new content to put on my website. I need new content. And I just saw it on Vimeo or something.
Oh, nice.
And then I liked it, and then you messaged me because I liked it, and then we both found out we're in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why he's here today.
Very cool.
So, organic.
I'm so glad I posted it. I made that in like one night. It was one night, and I got up into 3 a.m., and I was like, I need to come up with a title, and I just said, Time. And that's the biggest regret I have about that trailer. And it slowly devolves into a 3 a.m. fever dream kind of thing. It started out with this interesting bus thing, and all of a sudden it's like, crowds and that worm thing, and then, I don't know.
It's like, it reminds me of Pie. Darren Aronofsky,
I chose, thank you. I chose black and white. I basically turned everything black and white, and I went with the film noir thing because colors are so hard to get consistent, so I just make it all black and white, and all is forgiven. Here's some of the things I made that are some mid-journey starting visuals. And the reason I included these is because I just wanted to show, and we all know this, I realize everybody here is very familiar with this process. I hope they are, or at least if you're not, there's a lot of shots you have to throw away. And I think it's like rolling the dice. You come up with your prompt and you roll the dice and then you hit one. But you're like, maybe I could do it again and it'd be a little bit better. And you just keep going and going and going until you finally come up with a few shots. And then you feed it all the way into Mid-Journey and you come up with your cool, and once again, you're rolling the dice. So this is me all night long just coming up with cool shots. This was me, just for context, this was me running one of the old Mid-Journeys through the newest, hottest thing that's not hot anymore. Luma. It's not hot because.
Wait, so that was Luma?
This is Luma.
Is Luma?
That was a modern Luma like 3 days ago thing.
But you used Runway for time, right?
I used Runway for time, and that was 6 months ago.
Right.
This is something touching on what you were saying and what those kids, the balloon airhead, only use little components. You don't have to go full AI. Like that voiceover I used, it sounds so robotic. I mean, it's getting better. 11 Labs got better, but it's just, you've heard that voice, and it's just generic, right? So there's story ideas that could be generated. You have the script that could be generated. You have dialogue, visuals, music, voiceover, actors, settings. Find out what's holding you back, and use AI to put it in that place, right?
It's like, what are you not good at?
Yeah.
Like I'm good at writing, but I'm not a cinematographer.
Right.
But AI makes all my shots look like lit, really cool,
Right.
Like, I could never do that,
Matisse and I had a little debate at our first Zoom call where he said, well, I don't use ChatGPT. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, you just can't. Writing is just, it's like it was sacred or something. I was like, well, what about cinematography? Anyway, it's
true.
Like whatever
it's true, but my answer to that is this: writing is free, right? And getting a crew out there costs a budget.
Time is money.
I'm never gonna get that money, that budget for that crew. But so I have to cheat with AI to do that.
That's a good segue into my next slide, which is right.
Right. Okay. There you go.
I would take all day doing that. I can't ever settle on anything, and I would never do it. Like I would have never did that dialogue. Now I did write that dialogue in the time thing, that little moment where the phone call. But I have been known to use the ChatGPT for writing. And here are all the things I could come up with for making a movie, right? There's more where this came from, but what would you think? Where is it okay to use AI? Where do you draw the line? Is there anything here that's too sacred? And none of these things can be outsourced completely to AI. As Matisse was saying, we have little tools that we use, and then they all come together. So, what does this mean to you? True or false? AI-generated art is better than no art. I'd say true, right? If it can't get made, then that sucks, you know? Don't we want things to get made, the little ideas in our head to like come out real quick? I mean, they don't have to come out quick, but if you want them to, I think it's cool to be able to share things.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was held back for 15 years in Hollywood. So frustrating. Why are they not allowing me to make my thing, to tell my story? Why are they in charge of that? This is my life. And now AI gets all the gatekeepers and just says, sorry, like, move gatekeepers. You don't matter anymore.
Scarcity creates value, right? And now we see these images and it's like they're not scarce anymore. So there's a lot of philosophical talking to be had there. But if you have an idea that needs to see the light of day, use AI to get her done. All right, this is my son, and he's holding a chicken, and we have backyard chickens, and it's one of my little hobbies. And I was playing, just something to show. Matisse said I should show it. And this is, I decided to go outside and take some shots of the birds, and then make.
And then there's Tweety Bird, the flock's Easter egger. With her insatiable curiosity, she often finds herself in places she shouldn't be. Her adventurous spirit taking the better of her. But trees are not the natural habitat for chickens, and soon she finds herself in a predicament. Separated from her flock and perched precariously high, Tweety Bird realizes the gravity of her situation. Down below, Hermit and the others sense her distress. The flock rallies together, their calls a beacon of hope for Tweety Bird. In this backyard, as in the vast expanses of our planet, every day is a lesson in survival, camaraderie, and the indomitable spirit of life.
So, thank you. Wow. Thank you. To be continued.
So who wrote that?
Who wrote that?
Was your son involved in writing? How did you
So, well, I'm glad you asked because I'm about to talk. So we went out into the backyard, and I always shoot little videos of the chickens, you know, doing their thing. And I had a bunch of shots already, but I also kind of went in with intention this time. I was like, I'm gonna get a little sequence going because I had this idea, what if I used 11 Labs to generate a David Attenborough script? So first I go over to ChatGPT and I write a prompt. And it's, you're a scriptwriter tasked with writing segments of a nature documentary in a distinctive and recognizable style of David Attenborough's Planet Earth. I might be skating into territory that is not accepted because I referenced him directly. But, you know, you can tell on me. I did it, and it worked. Your goal is to take a rough list of events delimited by triple quotes below and transform them into detailed, engaging, and vivid narrations. So then below I put, Tweety Bird is an Easter egger. She got trapped in a tree. She chased a squirrel up a tree, and she got trapped. And then I cut that part out of the documentary because it didn't make sense. Right, that doesn't even happen too. I just learned about that. Chickens are descendants of dinosaurs. But yeah, so you just make a long list, and then out pops that amazing narration. Side note, I went ahead and put together a GPT that does this for you. So if you want to check that out, you can go to Word Studio, GPT's Nature Doc. So here's where I went and popped it into 11 Labs, and I made my own custom voice. And I sat there and I generated the British male old man voice over and over and over until I got something pretty close to David Attenborough. I saved that bad boy, and I generated it. generate it a few times, get like 4 or 5 outputs of the same script, and then you go put that into Premiere. Let me back up. You go put that into Premiere and then pick and choose. Don't sit there and keep worrying about how it sounds. You can cut it later, Get 10 versions of the same voiceover and then mix and match.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, with AI, you have so much output, and then you want to see all those outputs in one place, like Premiere or the Finder on your Mac, whatever, and then you compare and you make selects.
Right.
That's a big part of the process, just making selects, because everything kind of looks similar.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, this one's just barely better. This audio is just barely better. More what I want,
Then it was off to Suno to create my background music, and my inspiration came from the National Film Board of Canada, which is their vintage documentaries that are just so sweet to the ear. And the only reason I know that is from the Band Boards of Canada, or the music group, which is inspired by the sounds of the National Film Board of Canada. So after coming up with all of these songs had merit. Suno AI made all of those songs, and only one of them will ever see the light of day, which is crazy to think about all the art that is just getting tossed on the floor, never to be heard again by anybody. That's wild. And so here's what came together in Premiere. Real simple stuff, but wow, how hard would have that been to make, especially in a few hours with your kid, Like, let's go over to voice, So here's my workflow. Observe something interesting in the real world. This is for documentary. Capture neat footage with any camera you have. Write a rough beat list. Tweety Bird got stuck in the tree. Then feed it to the AI to give it a little bit of style. It doesn't have to be David Attenborough. It could be whatever you feel. Generate a voiceover track in 11 labs. I cut a radio edit. Basically, I put just the sound down, and I made sure the sound matched with the visuals first, and you listen to it, pacing and stuff like that. Articulate your music track. We'll get into that. That's describing what your music was going to sound like. Generate the music track. Lay music under the rough cut, polish, and add titles. Profit. Okay, so now I'm moving into my next section. So even though video is near and dear to my heart, my original love in AI was with just text. I thought text was so cool. Just to be able to do that was enough for me. It was enough to fill a lifetime of fun, So right now you get most of your AI outputs for providing prompts. Some tools allow you to provide a reference image, sounds, or files, but even image generators are instructed on what it creates using language. So I love this little quote: hottest new programming language is English. I respect the term prompt engineer. I think that it's a skill that people have. It's very hard to use English words to instruct something in detail. Like, it takes skill. And if you have a breadth of knowledge, you're better at it. But you have to have command of the English language.
That's where writing, being a good writer. You'll be a good prompt engineer if you're a good writer.
It exercised my brain when I started having to lay out in detail what I want the thing to do.
Yeah, it's not as simple as people think it. Like, writing a prompt is not always, especially for a film,
And if you go to prompt directories and prompt collections, I'm just appalled by the laziness of people who write these prompts and then distribute them into the world as if they're like, write an article about subject. That's not a prompt. I had prompt engineer on my LinkedIn for like a second, and then I had to get rid of it. Does anybody remember take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step? Does anybody hear about that? Take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step. So there was a paper called Large Language Models as Optimizers, and I think it was DeepMind, Google, scientists were trying to figure out, they gave the language model a bunch of word problems, like elementary level word problems. And they found that, I think it was Palm 2, and they found that the accuracy of the answers went up by 80%. No, it went from 32% to 80% by adding the words, take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step. And it's like, what?
It works, right? You've tried it.
It helps to tell it to go step by step. But the take a deep breath part is probably found within, the theory goes that it's found within corpuses of text in places where something needs to be explained step by step. So when you take a deep breath, it means that it's time to put everything aside and focus. That's what it means in a very vague sense to the computer. And then step by step means, well, that's prompt engineering 101. Give it steps. So by instructing it to do so, it does it.
Take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step.
So that music was created with Refusion, which was before Suno, and it only did 8 seconds, but man, that's cool. So here's my project, my side project that has been doing nothing but taking time away from me, and it's called Word.studio, and you can just go to Word.studio. I purchased a domain name, and when I found out that you could connect chat, to the API on OpenAI, I was like, wow, look at what you can do. And it's inspired, Jasper, everybody's used Jasper, and you see these sort of Me Too style libraries of templates where you can enter in different things into fields and it'll generate an article for you and all of those things. So this is my baby, and I felt like I didn't want to be in Me Too, so I felt like I'd elevate the craft. And the funny thing about elevating this craft is all it takes is words, because words are the programming language of the future. So my prompts in Word Studio are crafted meticulously better than the next guy. That's my claim. I don't know what kind of prompts they're using inside of theirs, but I know that I'm spending some time on my outputs, and I'm making sure that it doesn't come out with, in a world of digital realm, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want it to be high quality outputs. A lot of these companies that are making these things are opportunists who don't really care about the outputs. And they're running GPT 3.5 so they can save money, but mine runs on 4.0. Anyway, this is one of the tools. It's called a style articulator, and this is really good for Suno and also Runway. You can enter, and this is something you can do with ChatGPT Raw, but I've made it simple here. You enter in your work, you enter in what aspect of the work you'd like to focus on, and it will spit out a nice description of the work that can be fed into an AI without any moral dilemma. There's Add Copywriter. Now this one has got a little bit of moral problems because under Inspired By, we have actual real copywriters that this work will be, your ad will be inspired by. So how long that lasts, we'll find out, but I might have to feed those guys into the style articulator and then refed it back in. So.
Moms who love to camp.
Huh?
Moms who love to camp.
Right.
Demo.
These are just some samples. The ads are actually not that good, but they're a starting point. This is a fun one that's actually kind of popular. I get good search rankings for this cliche finder, and you just paste in text, and it will. This was actually text off my website, and I found a ton of cliches. Just ChatGPT.
I would say my favorite is the Victorian era letter writer.
Matisse, I have a Victoria letter writer. Oh, that's the next one. And I think I wrote a letter to you all. Matisse wrote me a letter with this one when we were reconfirming the meeting. It was awesome. I made this one for my mom because she's really into reading these novels like that. And I thought this would be fun to give her something that she could post Facebook comments with, in Victorian style. And this one, I made it like just on a whim, and I thought, well, this is dumb, but it'll be fun. This thing gets so much search traffic, it's not even funny. I have so many people using this thing, it's crazy. It's like the #1 thing on the website. Nobody wants to sign up because of it. And then I'm playing with I'm getting outside of my comfort zone, but I'm playing with just the dolly. You can make images, so this is one of the first ones. And I thought, well, geez, why hasn't anyone made any one of these yet? You know, just enter your word and push enter and give it a style, and there you go.
Check out Leonardo's new release this last week. I actually got it to do the whole preamble of the Constitution.
Oh my gosh, see? Yeah.
Yeah, words are hard. I mean, I can't get good words or writing in any of my Midjourney outputs.
Check out Leonardo.
Yeah, this is not an area that I want to compete in. There's too many major players. So I got like over 100 tools on this thing. This is what I've been doing in my cave. Yeah, so please check it out. I believe that the most groundbreaking work has yet to be made. The best movies, the best music, the best art. And will it be made in conjunction with AI? Maybe. But I love AI because I want to be a director. I want to be in a band. I want to make my own music album someday. I want to write a book. I want to paint and make art. I want to animate. I like VR stuff. I want to be able to generate 3D stuff someday and put it inside a little metaverse thing. I want to be able to generate little toys and 3D print them for people, or parts for that matter. That's going to be huge. And then, of course, everybody's seen these. So I just thought, like, look where we're headed. You know, there's some really cool stuff happening. I mean, I just love it so much. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you. And please follow me, or I'll follow you too.
Please.
If you're into AI.
So we have about 5 minutes. We want to take like top line questions or comments from the audience. Go.
This one's for Matisse. Since you're making a full feature-length film, a lot of these tools seem well suited for like a one-man army, like you guys kind of are. If you were tasked with having to speed up completing your film to like 3 months, how would you do that? Get unlimited money.
I would hire a team of artists and editors and musicians, basically. Like if I had more money, yeah, I would have a team right now. Like in my dream life is like a one-man studio, basically. But like you hire out work to whoever artist that you can find. But basically, to do this in 3 months, yeah, you need a team of like 50 animators, or like a real animation studio making a Toy Story or whatever has a lot of people there working on each shot. Instead, I'm working on each shot. So yeah, basically get a bigger team, get more money to pay for the more premium subscription things. I don't even have premium subscriptions to some of the stuff I use. Wish I did. Like on Runway, I have the middle level. I run out of generations like halfway through the month, and then I have to wait 15 days for it to renew my generations. And in that time, I don't use Runway. I use Midjourney to then create the stills that are gonna be animated. So I would use the money for that. Yeah, I would just scale up the team, basically.
I think you could do it. I think you could do it. My theory is we're not that far from having 5 people in a room for a month to do the film. And you need somebody who's really, really good at images. You need somebody who's really good at sound. You need somebody who has that vision of putting it all together, and then the editing. So I think
Yeah, editing's huge. Yeah, 5 people, you can do a movie at some point. I mean,
as soon as they figure
definitely possible. Yeah.
Going off of what you just asked about that, you know, last year I produced a song in my studio, and this is like right around Mid-Journey, you know, Runway was just coming out, and I knew I had to make a music video for this song. But I had done one before, and it took a long time. You gotta hire actors, you gotta get locations, you gotta get permits, you gotta get a film crew, you gotta get everything ready to go. And all those locations and all that time, it takes months sometimes.
It's almost impossible.
Well, and with Mid-Journey, getting my storyboard out, right? That was the first thing, was to get the shots laid out in the timeline editor, right? Then Runway, knocking out those shots in like a couple weeks, and then putting it all together with the song. I mean, I had a music video that people thought was real. It's out there, people think it's real still. So it's just, in 3 months, 3 weeks, right? For a music video. And I didn't pay what? $100? $200?
I mean, the budget's coming down, the manpower's coming down. I mean, everything's. Yeah, I mean, basically for me, I can't get that many people in one location at one time. It's just too hard. And now I can make music videos. Tons of people are making music videos now with AI. It's like very popular right now because you don't need character consistency as much. You can just jump from shot to shot, thing to thing. It's more abstract, it's more experimental. The hard thing is continuity. Two characters talking to each other in a room that looks realistic and has the dynamic nuances of actors. That's really hard to replicate, but we're getting there. Yeah.
I had a question for Carson on that time thing.
Yes.
The audio and the music, was that also AI generated?
The music was not, the audio was not. The sound effects, like the crowd of people, that was just some Creative Commons stuff. The music, I believe, was off of Envato.
Carson, can I ask a question that will annoy Matisse?
Yeah, please.
I've also built a custom GPT that builds prompts for short videos that do like the Twisty and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how good do you think GPT? My theory is GPT can give you pretty good short scripts, but I'm wondering how much of a good script you think GPT can give you without having somebody go in and rewrite.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like as far as a film goes. I don't think the context is long enough for it to actually work. I thought of for a short commercial. I've tried it, and it's funny because my clients, they're like such an economy of words. This was before it all kind of went mainstream, and I kind of cheated, I guess. Now everybody knows, but it's like if it's done, if it's cheap, if it's just run of the mill, but it gets the template down, so you can kind of like play with it. I don't know. Sometimes I end up spending just as much time as I would to start from scratch. But I do think that there is a way to write longer form stuff by either getting more context or basically building what I call a synopsis or a summary or a beat sheet, put it off to the side, and keep feeding it back in every time you like make the custom GPT and upload your documents in there, and then make sure it refers to those documents, and then you can just go crazy with it and start writing chapter by chapter or scene by scene.
As Matisse and I, we talk about being writers, like he talks about meaning, and I gotta just say, I can't do that, right? Like I can't write a screenplay using GPT. I don't think I will be able to. My girlfriend asked me, like, why don't you just do that? I just finished a sci-fi screenplay from scratch, semi-finalist for some contest. I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it. The meaning behind it is that it was in my head. I got to get that out of my head. Now, I storyboard the visualizations of the imagery using Midjourney to give me an idea of what it could look like. I can't do that. I can't draw. Right, but now I can. So it kind of gives me that visual opportunity to see my creation.
Just made me think of like a lot of directors out there can't draw, but they do storyboards by hand, like if you look at old school directors, like Ridley Scott or whatever. And it's just them. If they had AI, they would be using it, to do their storyboards. Like.
Well, John Lasseter became a digital artist because he couldn't draw.
Right.
And it's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always wanted to be a cartoonist and an animator, but I can't draw, and it takes a lot of work to work in Maya or whatever you want to work in. Now you can use AI.
Well, if you know how to write, or if you know what good dialogue sounds like because you've done it or study it, then you'll see that it's crap. and you won't want to use it. Just like an artist would see that some of, you know, the thousands of Midjourney images are not actually art, like highbrow, you know, it's like,
I mean,
you have to be a curator.
ultimately, in your script, your sci-fi script, there's so much specificity and choices that went into it that an AI can never replicate because there's too many billions of options, right? Billions, because you start with a white page, you know, blank page. So for you to reach that end script, AI can never exactly replicate that. That's my opinion.
It can give me a good treatment.
Yeah.
Give me a good summary. It can give me a good log line after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, it reverse engineers your script. Yeah.
I do have a log line generator on Code Studio. It works really well too.
All right. Do we have anybody else? We're about to wrap up. Michael.
I was just thinking about prompt engineering, all this stuff with Midjourney and ChatGPT, and I've been doing a lot of script writing. I mean, prompt engineering, script writing for ChatGPT, and just realizing, I mean, I'm trained as an engineer. I coded for many, many years before I went off to do other video things, and it's not programming. That's what I'm having to wrap my head around. Like when you do a ChatGPT script, it crunches on all of that up front. Even if you say, first do this, second do this, third go back and look at what you wrote. If it wasn't right, write it again. It's not following your steps. It's crunching on the whole thing. It's putting itself somewhere in the model. And then it starts to just put out letter by letter based on odds. That's based on what the model space says. So I'm having to like redo a lot of my scripts because I was treating it like a programming language, and it's not. And then when you get into video and imagery, it's even worse because there you've got 75 tokens to work with, not even words. That turns out to be like 55 words. You have 55 words to work with. And that's it. And so when you're describing a Sora clip or a runway clip, you've got 55 words to describe what's going to happen in that 10-second video. And that's a limit that I haven't seen anybody break yet in the model gen side. ChatGPT can do like 200,000 tokens now as like context. You can talk to it for a long time or have a giant script in it. And compare that to like 75 tokens for image and video.
Well, I think in my workflow with creating images and prompting images, I start from the simplest and then I build. I see, can it do this first? Can it just create a cat in a room that looks like this first with balls? Okay, great. Then what else do I want? I want the cat jumping. Okay, can I do that? So I just like build. But some people try to start with very, very specific, large, long prompts and do it that way. And I'm like, I can't work that way. I just can't.
It doesn't really work that well.
Doesn't work that well. Yeah, it doesn't give you what you want. Like even with all the Luma, like this guy experimenting with Luma online, like he gave it these long, detailed prompts, and it like didn't do what he wanted it to do.
It takes what it wants out of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a simple shot of something simple, you can get to that. But it's trying to like have all these things going on at once in one shot in one video. It's like you're trying for too much, you know.
I think that the secret, from the writing standpoint too, this was like some, I took an edible and was having revelations. But there are certain words that have greater contextual networks, right? Like there's certain words that just mean more.
And there's more on the internet about those words that it can like pull from.
Yeah, so like if you're using those words, your tokens have a little bit more imaginative power. It may not give you that specific thing that you're trying to create, but it's going to give you something really interesting to use. And I would also argue that it is kind of a programming language. I mean, Midjourney's got so many different prompts, dash this, dash that, emphasizing a negative on something and a positive on something.
Well, that's because it's breaking it out. It's not putting that into the generator. It's actually breaking it out and adding it separately.
Yeah. But I mean, like that's something that people don't know. They just type in like, give me a donkey, wearing shoes versus like, don't give me this, and this, and give me more of this, and that. It's kind of like this extra part to it that people just don't know about.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that Comfy UI or the Stable Diffusion kind of has that thing where it's broken out into forms? I think forms are where it's at. I love forums. I think forums are make it easy for people to do things.
Forms like on Word Studio.
Well, yeah, but there's any kind of interface where you can say, what do you want the subject to, like what if Sora or whatever had subject, man with blonde hair.
Right. Well, that's pretty much
In
how
a
I write
bookstore.
my prompts. It's like character, location, time of day, weather. It's like anything you would put in a script slug line, basically. You have to give the basics first, you know, and then go from there, you know,
Right.
and then build from there. But anyways, we're out of time. We got to get out of here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys. Come to our next one, which will be the month after next. We're going to go have a drink across the street at Higbee's. If anyone wants to join, feel free. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for sitting with me, man. It's okay, bro. You can do MARC. I'm good. Yeah. What was your name? What you learn? Why was we in the first place? So, I'm actually running. I'm about to head out. No.
she got scammed by this guy. That's a different story. How did he seduce her? One person she was 15 years old. Like, when you go and see anything about it, it's like, dude,
I don't do that much. I kind of lost my stomach is getting
what it is I follow a set of 5 major areas of racism with people around them. And so what happens to them? So like these real people, so like 2 of the richest girls in the world are like richer than most people and even nations. And because they become of age in the Great Depression, then they become targets of fortune cookies. And people in their world that lost money that aren't admitting it. And people who never had money. And then the people who have money that don't want to be with them because they're new money and like all these weird dynamics. If you think money solves your problem, it solves one problem, it adds to another. You don't have to starve.
Alright, let's move to the front and just network outside.
Story being one of the main characters. Yeah, and our mother was half brother is the non-heir. Like I was trying to make it a TV series and I was having problems and like I needed some established ideas. It may have been that spoke last time. Oh, where's the? They gave us the validation.
Get from like all of these.
Left their back.
In your opinion, what do you think would be the last? Let's bring it that AI would be involved.
All right, we gotta move. Sorry.
No. Just for me personally, I think it's music. AI is.
Music is my mom was a music teacher, so I have an interest in like significant words.
Well,
Well, there's a lot of new
score.
micropayment solutions that are going to help with like the royalty thing. It's all solved in Canada.
I think with film scoring, it's a lot more complicated than generating some sort of.
Oh, I do this way. I'm sorry. Do that way.
Oh no.
I think, yeah, and I think it's.
Like that example with the choir singing.
That was so cute. That was really beautiful.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? That was from Refusion.
There was a lot of parallel fifths and parallel octaves. And that's like.
My dad was in an orchestra, like a community one in Ottawa in Canada, and I just
Like it wasn't bad, but
something.
A music professor would be like, a music theory professor would fail it. So.
My I as an elective took music in university, and my prof was trained at Princeton. Like I was in a choir, and so I appreciate choir stuff. It's very beautiful, but not everyone likes it. There's other genres. There's so many genres. So
that one was beautiful.
That was really nice for TV and film, like choir. That's like a good grand finale. Like it's a good one.
And just like in your opinion,
I was like chill hop.
what do you think the last one, or like what do you think would be hardest for AI?
Dialogue, because it has to be solved. I mean, the writing part probably. It's like always going to be. Michelle, listen to me real quick. The premise.
Is it in B flat major?
What?
This is what he's showing me on here. It's that list of all
You should
those.
type in also the key signature for the music score section. You should play B flat major.
Alright, y'all, let's start heading towards the exits, please.
Oh, you're one of those. You're one of those 432 hertz people. I've been listening to